Hey everyone, Dan Lotz here of 922 Films. I want to make a video about film editing and how to become a better film editor. There is a difference between video editing and film editing. Video editing is a concept of like making short videos for companies or clients that need them. They're usually 2 to 3 minute long, or maybe a wedding video. I think that's a video editor. A film editor, in my mind, is someone who's cutting a piece of work for a film, like a short film, a feature film, a video installation, something that's more in the filmic category. And over the years, I have honed my skills as a film editor, and I wanted to just instill a few of my thoughts on you guys how to be a better film editor. The first thing is speed. This is something that I think every director will appreciate as you as a film editor grow is speed. They want you to get the work done well, but also efficiently. And there's a few ways you can achieve that. For me, it's getting the footage as early as possible. So if they're in shooting and they're shooting clips as you are editing the film, it's better to get the clips right then and now instead of waiting till the end. A lot of people like to wait till they have all the footage, ingest it all, wait, and then edit it. That usually will lead to the slowest results because you have the most amount of work in a row and you're going to get burnt out and tired. If you can space that out by getting your director to give you the work earlier, that usually is going to benefit you a lot. So I think that will help you in the speed department. Another way to help your speed is just to learn the hotkeys. For me, I like to keep things basic. I like to learn all the basic hotkeys that I'm going to need, and I don't really waste time learning ones that I don't need. So I know my cut tool, I know my drag tool, I know my move all tool where it like moves everything from a certain point onward. That's important to have, but overall, don't go crazy. Just learn the hotkeys that are going to help you speed up and make things more efficient. So that's one thing as an editor that can really help you out. The second one is depending on what kind of budget you're on. This would be color grade or any post work that isn't really in the editor category. So I guess in a lot of official productions, you're not going to necessarily be doing color grading or VFX, but I'm talking to an audience that's much more in the low budget category, and you might end up having to do all that. So being skilled in color grading, being skilled in doing low level VFX like muzzle flashes or something that's very basic can save a director a lot of time and a lot of money because then they're not going to have to bring it out to someone who goes into After Effects and does all these crazy effects. You might be able to just do it yourself. So that's another area that I think as an editor, that if you learn that, you'll get better and better at that. My third thing would be don't be afraid to interject your opinions. I worked on a film with Joel Dick, my co-producer on the 922 Films channel, and basically we were just talking about the film, and there was points throughout where I interjected my own opinions. I had my own thoughts on the film that we were making, and sometimes they didn't really always jive with what Joel was thinking. And sometimes those conflicting thoughts can bring a good sort of creative balance where you're coming in with your opinions, the director's coming in with their opinions, and you are getting maybe a more balanced view of what an audience might perceive. So that's one thing. Always when you're editing for someone else, specifically if you're editing for someone else, don't be afraid to share your opinions. That's what they're paying you for. Another one is be good at picking songs. Um, my director Joel Dick does not like picking songs. It's like a very hard process for him because he gets very particular. For me, it's very easy to figure out what songs we liked. And on Hell's a Timeshare in Florida, for I think out of like the 12 songs that were in the film, like only like 11 of them were picked like almost instantly by me. And we had one that we debated and discussed about which song we wanted to go with. So overall, I think being able to pick out music that works within a film is a very, very good skill and something that I think is very underrated. Finally, the last skill you need to have as an editor is the gut feeling. This is something I can't train, teach, or give you knowledge on. It's just something that you need to develop on your own. It's this gut feeling of like, hey, does this need to go 3 frames to the left? Does this need to go 3 frames to the right? Does this need to be extended a whole minute? Do I need to cut out scenes? A good example of this was in Hell's a Timeshare in Florida. This is another example from that film. There was a part where we had this super edited scene on this beach. It was super edited. It had like probably like like 4 different angles, maybe 3 different angles, and we were cutting between back and forth, all these angles. And the audio quality was just different on each one. But we were like, oh, we want to have more angles because Joel shot. We wanted to show that Joel actually put in the effort to shoot all these different angles. And I just made the judgment call eventually that I was like, hey, this just doesn't work. It just works better if it's just one angle. And I remember Joel being like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, I do think that's how it works. And he was like, okay, I trust you. And we rolled it back and we played it again. And we came to the realization that, yeah, it does work better. It just happens to work better that way. And it was unfortunate we had to lose those shots that Joel worked really hard on. But it was fortunate that we had me in the corner just saying, hey, let's just play it straight out and see if the performances will sell the scene rather than trying to like overcut when we don't need to. And that ended up making the film better. And there's a lot of little decisions like that I did on that film that allowed us to just get into the vibe of the scene and not worry so much about the coverage or stuff that I don't think really mattered as much. So, those are some of my tips on how to be a better film editor. I hope these are helpful. I hope you take these skills and go forward and make good films. So consider subscribing to this channel. Check out Hell's a Timeshare in Florida. That's the film I edited for Joel Dick. And we'll see you soon.